In a rapidly changing world, innovation is not an option. It is imperative. The California Milk Advisory Board is leading the charge, combining two of California's greatest resources, nutritious, real California milk and the entrepreneurial spirit of California, by finding, funding, and accelerating the best dairy-based products through the Real California Milk Accelerator. The California Milk Advisory Board and Venture Fuel welcome you to our 5th annual Real California Milk Accelerator Final Pitch event. Tonight, our 2023 cohort will pitch for the chance to take home one of the 4 $30,000 prizes to grow and scale their businesses in California. And the 2 companies from our 2022 cohort exhibiting the strongest growth over the past year will go home with the grand and runner-up prizes. Since 2019, the Real California Milk Accelerator has accelerated over 50 innovative dairy products, awarding over $2.25 million. Today, alumni can be found on the shelves of major retailers, all using and driving demand for California dairy. Our cohort of 8 companies bring novel approaches to yogurt, supplements, alcohol, snacking, and beyond. Over the last 12 weeks, they have honed their business models and met with mentors across the industry, all to accelerate their businesses and to prepare for tonight's competition. These founders are creating what's possible with dairy, because the future of dairy is dairy. And what's next? Well, what's next is now.
Welcome to the 5th Real California Milk Accelerator. I'm Fred Schonenberg. I'm the founder of Venture Fuel, and I'm honored to be your MC tonight. I'm also honored to have been working with CMAB and the California dairy community these past 5 years. We've done some really amazing things. I think the video did a good job of talking about those at a high level, but to think in just a few years, we've accelerated over 50 companies is kind of mind-blowing. And these companies have been featured on Shark Tank, New York Times, Fast Company. They've earned retail space on all the logos you saw up there, basically every retailer you can think of. And that comes from the focus of this program, which is 2-part. One is to drive excitement for California milk, and the second is to drive real demand. We want it to be tangible. So you'll get to meet tonight our 2022 cohort, the finalists that have spent the past 12 months growing their companies, and they're gonna be awarded tonight. We'll find out for the $100,000 prize, but that's based off of actual sales. And that's something really important to all of us, is to make this tangible. It's about innovation, but innovation that can grow sales. So we're super excited to be here and super excited for this partnership. I think what's really exciting is what the potential lies ahead also. So speaking of exciting, we've got an awesome program for you. We hope you enjoyed the Dairy Expo. That will be open again after the setting. We'll then go into the 2022 cohort. You'll get to meet them, see how they've grown, and then of course the main event is the pitch competition. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce 2 gentlemen that have made all of this possible. John Talbot, who is the CEO of CMAB, and Tony Louders, who is the chairman. Gentlemen.
And we're live. So again, thank you, Fred. 5 years, amazing. We've come a long, long way. Some of you remember maybe the first one. And this is really exciting. One of the most fun times of the year for us, I think. And the reason is there's this palpable energy that is part of this whole process. And it's all on exhibit tonight. And we're very excited. I'm going to let Tony talk, though, because Tony is really why we're here. And he enables us to do this, the California dairy farmers. So Tony, you want to say a few words?
Sure. Thank you, John, and thank you, Fred, and everyone that has made this night possible. And really the big people that have made this possible is our dairy farmers, right? There's a bunch in the crowd. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. For those of you that don't know, Milk Advisory Board, right, is supplied by dairy farmers. The funds are supplied by the dairy farmers throughout California. It's our checkoff dollars that go to supply this organization that we can then therefore go out and push demand, grow demand, innovative products. So on behalf of the California dairy farmers, I commend all of the cohorts here this year and in the past, right? Because without you, I mean, we produce the nutritious milk that you guys use in your products and your great products, right? But if we do not have people like you that are innovating and creating new products, we then become stagnant as an industry, right? If we're not growing and we're not doing new things, we then die and become irrelevant. Because of you guys and because of this program, we're the leader in the industry in California in a lot of different things, some good, some bad. But in California dairy, it's definitely a good thing, right? As we are the leader in sustainability. And we talk about, I talked to the judges, we talk about sustainability on two fronts, right? We talk about what we do in the environment and from a sustainability standpoint. The vast majority of our rations on farm are upcycled, right, from things that would essentially go in the landfills. But you got a bunch of products here, that same type of thing. The products that they are using are typically just, sometimes some of them are just waste products, but they have been innovative and made a revenue stream that's value added. And that's a beautiful thing. And so the industry as a whole is extremely sustainable. And then that therefore churns into makes us sustainable on farms from value added products that then can come back to us as far as in our paychecks, which is one of the reasons that we put 10 cents a hundredweight into these type of programs to try to drive demand, drive sales in a variety of different aspects. So thank you to everyone here and all the staff and the variety of different people that make that possible. We can't do that on the dairy farm, right? That's not our area of expertise. We do a really good job of making great, wholesome milk that you guys drink and eat in a variety of different ways. But there's people here that make the great products, sell our products, and are really innovators in a lot of different ways. And I'm just so grateful for us being able to partner with you guys. And we love this event because it's a big thing. If we're not innovating, we're dying. And we are leading the industry in California in innovation. And we need to continue to do that. And I'm very excited. And this is one of the great events that does that. And there's a lot of other regions that are looking to us and to model after what we are doing here. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of this great industry. So thank you.
Thanks, Tony. You know, I want to thank a few people before I get pulled off here. First of all, thank all of you for joining us tonight. Thanks to the Venture Fuel and CMAB teams for putting this whole thing together. Thank you to the 17 mentors, some of which are here in the audience, that helped coach these entrepreneurs over the last several months. It's a huge part of this program, and it's a huge part of how we have seen such an improvement in the concepts, in the pitches, in the presentations, in the go-to-market plans. And then also to the judges, thank you all for helping to guide where our next step goes with the entrepreneurs. And then obviously thanks to them for committing their time and energy to these new ideas, because that's what it's all about. And lastly, just one shout out and thank you to the National Dairy Board. They are a huge partner of ours, vital to the efforts that we do in innovation. And they have sweetened the pot tonight by offering a bit of a bonus. And so they are going to be making available one very coveted 8 or 10 by 10 booth at Expo West next March to one of our finalists. And that will be determined after the results are found out tonight, though. So we can't tell you yet. But at any rate, very excited for that. If you don't know about Expo West, it is probably the premier showcase for new products in the natural foods industry. And it is where everybody goes to look for new stuff. So that'll be a great prize for one of our lucky finalists. So anyway, without further ado, we're gonna get the ball rolling here.
All right, I'm risking having 2 mics on at the same time. One of the things that Tony talked about that I think is really interesting and sets up this conversation is driving sales. Why innovate? Why not just do the status quo? What is the value of that? So we've asked 2 of our judges, if you guys want to come up, just to have a quick fireside chat here with you, just to give a perspective on why innovation is important, and then we're going to get right into the programming. these guys' background is so extensive that I would take the whole night to give you all their accolades and where they've been. So I'm going to give you the very quick synopsis of what's there. Chris McKenzie is a venture capitalist at Red Cedar Ventures. She's been investing in the consumer space for over 8 years. So thank you for being here. And Donna Berry. Donna is a world-renowned thought leader in the dairy space. If you are not reading Berry on Dairy. I always get it backwards. There it is again. It is like the Bible of what's next in dairy. So we're very excited to have both of you here as a judge, and also just for this quick conversation. So at a high level, what is the value of innovation? Why not just do the status quo? Chris, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I would say a lot of our consumer brands, direct-to-consumer brands, if they are not doing something that captures your attention, right? If they don't have a celebrity behind it, if they don't have, some crazy viral moment, they need to do something that captures the attention of the customers, and they need to do something that is lasting. So I think they always need to be thinking ahead. What's the new trend? What can I do before everybody else does it? How do I not blend in? So that's what's important for our portfolio companies.
Donna.
So to bring that back to dairy, something that has been with many of us forever, it is tried and true. And there is value in tried and true, but let's build on that. And I think that the last couple of years with all of the plant-based stuff and where that's going, we can see that tried and true really works. People do appreciate the nutrition, the deliciousness, the story that you can tell. And I really do feel that that is so important a part about dairy, is that you have to have a purpose, you have to explain it and tell your story.
Each of you have such a unique lens. Can you talk about maybe some trends that you're seeing that are resonating? Because one of the things I think about is you have to follow the consumer, where they're going. They're bifurcating. They have different wants, needs, flavors that they're going for. Be curious if you're seeing anything from your lens that's unique or exciting. And Donna, I'll start with you.
Oh boy, well, I'm actually going to not just take the claim to what the ones I'm going to say, because this came from Kroger research. So I've left this note for myself because I think it's really important. Kroger sees that in 2024, functional benefits, clean ingredients, and higher protein options. And that higher protein option is not specified by their research. However, we all know that dairy is a leader in that space. And so I believe that we need to better communicate that. I'm going to just take a back step to something I wanted to say to your earlier question, is that people have an emotional and personal connection with food. If it doesn't deliver on what your previous experience was, taste, or whatever the case is, they're not going to buy it again. They're curious. They want to know. They want to go to the store. They want to try something new. We live in a world where things go so damn fast you can't even keep up with it, right? I mean, I can't watch the news anymore. But they want to try something, and they want something they're familiar with. And most people have grown up with dairy products in their life. And so you start with that base product and then you add on to it, but you have to communicate what that add-on is. Is it a nutritional angle? Is it a upcycling angle? Is it a packaging angle? But it's so important to know to have a purpose in your innovation and communicate that purpose in order for someone to buy it.
Chris, what about you? Is there something you're seeing from a trend standpoint or that's breaking through that you're excited about? Obviously, as a venture capitalist, your job is to look 7 to 10 years out for what's next. Curious if you're seeing anything that's interesting.
I don't know if it's anything revolutionary, but I think we're currently working with a protein-infused ice cream, targeting student athletes and those in nursing homes who are having trouble keeping protein in their diets. And so looking at premium offerings, looking at different packaging, just being more fun and interesting when it comes to their go-to-market strategy and their marketing, I think is kind of making them stand out a little bit more. So I think a lot of brands are doing that, but the ones that do it well are actually the ones that stand out to us.
And I think if you all saw the Dairy Expo area out here, the packaging is so unique. I think that's one of the things that founders are very good at, is kind of figuring out a unique angle to grab consumers' attention. Well, thank you all for coming off the judging panel to come talk with me for a second. If you all can come back, we'll start the whole main show. So thank you. Thank you. So as they take their seats, I'm going to give you a little bit of background here on how this is going to go. So we have an unbelievable lineup of judges, which I'll introduce in 1 second. They are evaluating these companies on 4 criteria. By the way, each of you in the audience is going to be expected to vote. So you have to pay attention. You're only going to have to vote for who you want. So it'll be easier for you. But here are the 4. Meet consumer demand. Does this have the potential to scale? Do consumers want it? Does it solve a gap in the market? 2, viability and business strategy. Is this real? Innovation and uniqueness. This is an innovation competition. So is this something net new, something that is transformative? And lastly is the founding team strength. So at Venture Fuel, we always try and put lots of letters on things. So we call it the 4 Ps. We actually have the 8 Ps, but we're only making you all do 4. So if you think of it this way, it's product, process, potential, and people. And so that is how we're going to kind of unlock this today. And for the audience, just to give you an idea of the flow, each of these startups, as part of the program, has put together a 30-second commercial, which they then can use however they want later. But that will give you a quick overview of who they are. The founders will come to the stage. They will pitch for 5 minutes, and then the judges will ask them questions for 10. So we're going to go rapid fire. It'll be fast and furious and a lot of fun. But without further ado, we're going to get this started. I'm going to introduce our amazing panel of judges. You just met Chris. You just met Donna. Don Davidson. Don, I don't know if you want to stand up and just wave to the crowd. VP of Exclusive Brands at Grocery Outlet, formerly the VP of Strategic Sourcing at Albertsons Safeway. Thank you for being here. Carmen Lacone. Carmen is the Director of Dairy Products and the Technology Center at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Did I say that correctly? New Yorkers get this wrong all the time. Dr. Lacone is a cheese enthusiast and advocate for the dairy industry. After receiving her MS and PhD in agriculture science and engineering, she has been dedicating her research and academic passions around the dairy processing areas. Next up, Noel Rosa. I met Noel years ago, one of the first of these. He's the president and CEO of Rosa Brothers Milk Company. I still remember having ice cream at your shop. It was one of the best ice creams I've ever had. So always good to see you. Makes me hungry. Jennifer Jo Weissman, thank you for being here. She is a principal at Weissman Consulting. She spent over 30 years focused on innovation at companies such as E&J Gallo Winery, the Gillette Company, and Procter & Gamble. John Talbot, we have met already this evening. And our last but not least judge, Ben Yee. Ben is the Director of Processor Partnerships at CMAB. So we've got a great group here. We had amazing mentors get all the founders ready. Now we've got a really tough group of judges. You all will be doing a fan vote at the end of this. And so let's get the show started.
Hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. My name is Donald Annett, and I'd like to present to you our newest creation, Cookie Wild, the first ever, forever crunchy ice cream sandwich. Let's talk about ice cream and California milk. California is the most significant state when it comes to dairy farming. We produce a lot of ice cream and we consume a lot of ice cream here in California. The industry provides around 200,000 year-round jobs. We produce about $60 billion in the industry alone. And we process around 200 million gallons of ice cream in California every year. That's about 400 Olympic-sized swimming pool. That's a lot of ice cream. But there's an issue. We are the largest ice cream producer, but we cannot say the same when it comes to innovations. When was the last time that you heard of an innovation of a product that markets about its new packaging or new type of flavor or new taste? Never. Think about this. The last greatest innovation in ice cream is a keto ice cream full of air and lots of fake sugars. Did we really enjoy eating those pints of ice cream, those keto ice cream? Some were good, some were a miss. That's why we thought that the industry became very repetitive. Same flavors, same novelties, same texture. That's the reason why we created Cookie Wild, your first ever, forever crunchy ice cream sandwich. Cookie Wild is a brainchild born out of eating fresh ice cream from your assembly line. Have you ever had one of these ice creams? They're like soft, soggy, never crunchy. Cookie Wild, if you notice, Don, what's the date on this? 2021. Still crunchy up to this day. This is an expired ice cream. So our innovation created a coating that gives the eating experience to everybody as if you have an assembly line and you're grabbing from the assembly line and having that crunchy wafer ice cream experience. We are the only one in the market right now that has that crunchy ice cream. We have the secret sauce that prevents the moisture from the ice cream to the wafers. Basically, when ice cream touch like a cookie or a wafer, it gets soft right away. Not our product. On the side note, every second, 48 ice cream sandwich is consumed in the US alone. That's how big this industry is. We are a California-based company with the California Milk Advisory Board seal already, and we are processing California milk only. Even though this product is new, we already have a market validation by selling our product in Texas and Hawaii, and of course, more states to come. Behind Cookie Wild's creation is amazing ice creams. We have all kinds of certification needed to process and sell on a global scale. We manufacture national brands already, and every year we are growing consistently. You guys already tried the 2.0 version of the Cookie Wild. They look like your classic ice cream sandwich, but we promise you, they stay crunchy forever. Imagine this, with our innovation, Choco Taco 2.0, the viral Choco Taco, but stays crunchy forever. We could do that with the inspiration of Cookie Wild. Now, why us? Because our innovation is crazy. It's exciting. It's a wild innovation. It's meant for global expansion. If you pick us to win this event, we will add more Olympic-sized swimming pool process in California alone. And with our innovation in California Milk Advisory Board, we will make the world feel and wish that they all could be California milk. Thank you.
Thank you, great job. And to your point, ice cream's never really married too well with crunchy things, whether that be sandwiches or nuts or whatever. They all kind of just get soggy. So this is really exciting. So I guess my question to you is then, how do you differentiate this ice cream? How do you go after the snack category with better crunch? Because even those chips go bad in a month or two. You could do some pretty interesting things, I would think. So how do you leverage the crunch?
Well, right now we are the only one in the market that has this innovation. So we could say that, we are the first one in the industry to do it. The uniqueness of it is it doesn't end on an ice cream sandwich. We plan on, adding more innovations from it, from that crunch technology. So basically the enrobing technology. Ours stays crunchy until it expires. So I don't know if whatever is in the market is like that right now. There are ice cream sandwiches right now that are fully enrobed, but they're basically different category because they're meant to be soft. Ours, we are trying to sell it as a crunchy forever, even though we are in the same novelty category.
Great. Jennifer Jo.
And I was just wondering how you were communicating to your target market there on the different properties, your differentiated properties of this product in those markets.
Yeah, when a product is new, there's like education involved. So, we do trade shows and sampling and all of that. But, with the help of distributors and also, with Milk Advisory Board, we get to meet people from the industry. We get to meet new buyers that we educate them with our product. Then, they get to experience it. Then, of course, the excitement comes in. Then, next thing you know, our product is in their stores.
First of all, this is a very special ice cream novelty because it does have the crunch. So tell us a little bit about the ice cream that's married with this, because you needed a special ice cream to be married up with that. And then when it's all said and done, how much does this special ice cream married up with this special cookie, what's that add to the cost relative to your competition?
The classic version, I call them Cookie Wild 2.0, looks like your commodity, ice cream sandwiches that are in stores right now. Of course, that market is very challenging because, they're sold on a very low price. But ours, because of the innovation that we added to it, it gives you that classic look, but bringing it to another level. The milk is 100% California milk, for sure. It's super premium milk that we process in our plant. Then the secret sauce is the enrobing of the wafer, separating it from the ice cream. As far as price point, it falls between the commodity and the super premium. So we were basically in between, hopefully, not hopefully, in the market, we were able to sell this product on like a $2.99, $3.99 per unit.
What is the ice cream inside the cookie? What is the percentage of butterfat and the
14%
overrun?
butterfat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the overrun?
I think it's 80%.
Okay.
Thank you.
Donna.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me what I'm tasting? There's 3 things here. So I see your branded package. Are the other 2 your products as well? That's what I'm more curious about.
So the other 2 are like 2.0. So they're like the second version, making them look like your classic ice cream sandwich that you buy in the stores right now. So the white one is a vanilla with chocolate fudge, which is the same version as the branded one. Then the second one is a chocolate with a raspberry tart filling in the middle.
Is your technology patented, and is it unique to a coating for chocolate?
It's not patented, but that coating is basically blended together to make sure that it doesn't, the chocolate's not overkill. So it still gives you that crunchiness, the eating of the wafer experience, and you're enjoying the ice cream more than the chocolate coating.
All right, Donald, great job.
Awesome,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Arbo's cheese dip. Hot or cold, it's always bold. This family recipe is keto-friendly, gluten-free, and made with real American cheese. Satisfy your cheesiest cravings with queso blanco, spicy, and our famous original. You'll never leave a broken chip behind with Arbo's cheese dip. Dip, enjoy, repeat.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Andrew Arbogast, the founder and CEO of Arbo's Cheese Dip. Arbogast being my last name, in case you didn't catch on to that. So I do want to go back some time to give you a visual of why I started the Cheese Dip company. And it all started on one pitch black, cold night in the eastern mountains of Afghanistan. And we were going through our normal routine of briefing for another high-risk mission that evening, and we went and grabbed our chow, which consisted of cold, gray pork chops and shriveled peas and carrots. We just became robotic with eating this stuff, and from an early age, I've always loved cheese. And I had remembered that night after the briefing that my parents had shipped me a care package full of specialty cheeses. When most soldiers are asking for batteries and wet wipes, I want cheese. So I ran back to my dwelling, which is a little container, and grabbed this box of cheese, sprinted back to the flight line, and presented it to the guys. And I remember that night, it was such a special moment because not only was I happy, but I could see the happiness in already a very low morale situation. And never did I imagine that would lead to anything else. But if you fast forward 7 years, November of 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, and I was sitting around a fire pit with all of my friends, and we were talking about how much we disliked our careers. And personally, I had this transitional feeling from the military where I never thought I'd find another purpose. And I lacked enjoyment in things that people found enjoyment in. I was numb. And one of my buddies looked over and stared at me and said, "You ought to make your dad's cheese dip and sell it." And my dad's been making this cheese dip for 30 years. And it was that moment that brought me back to that night in Afghanistan. And I realized, like, this could be something much bigger. And if I'm able to make a lot of people happy by a small $5 tub of cheese dip, my world would be made, right? So that was 3 years ago this month. And if you can see what we accomplished in 3 years, I did it against all odds. When everybody told me this is not possible, they said, "It doesn't work this way. You can't do that. You can't quit your job. You quit your job too soon." I didn't care. I was going on pure determination and a longing for fulfillment in my life. So think about what the next 3 years could look like with the help and support of the California Milk Advisory Board and having that Real California Milk seal on my container. Because of the CMAB, I've been partnered with Cedar Lane, a co-packer here in Carson, California, that's going to manufacture my product and allow me to now produce and ship from west to east. I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm from Tennessee, if you couldn't tell by the way I talk. So that's where it's manufactured today. I remember being in the buyer's office for Publix several months ago, and he was trying the cheese dip for the first time. And when he tried it, he just paused and looked up and said, "First of all, this is the best cheese dip I've ever had. And second of all, you are going to be a disruptor in the queso industry." And I just remember gripping the chair and thinking about my dad and what this meant for us and for our family and the future for Arbo's Cheese Dip. In the military, mission failure is not an option, but I had failed several times with Arbo's Cheese Dip to this point, but I never quit. And the reason being is the story, but also the product itself. The consistency is thin when cold, or I'm sorry, it is smooth, it's bold always, and it's uniquely different than every other cheese dip on the market. So not only is the story exceptional, the product itself tastes good, and we've been able to grow this from my home kitchen to 1,600 stores in 20 states. So you're wondering why there's a picture of me in the CMA Awards? I was there last week. My story was featured, and JetBlue conversation about 3-ounce tubs of cheese dip, and now we're talking with the government for federal contract opportunities. But the real reason, or I guess the best thing that could possibly happen for Arbo's Cheese Dip is being a part of the Real California Milk, and the opportunity for me to bring Arbo's Cheese Dip from east to west. I'm asking for the support of the CMAB and California to help me bring this from west to east and make this a national product, which is what I dreamed of. Thank you.
All right, Andrew, that was awesome. Let's go with some questions here. Ben, I'm going to start with you.
Who is your main competitor from a branding standpoint, and how you're positioned to go up against those brands?
So Queso Melt is one of the top ones, especially in my region. They are actually owned by the distributor that I'm in. And there's several others, such as El Terrifico, Gordo's, and I keep an eye on the pricing and work my best to be competitive as possible with them, and we've achieved that. So, for example, we're going into Walmart at the same retail price as Gordo's, who probably has 50,000 times the volume of what I have.
Carmen.
Yes, so great flavor and texture. My question is about the ingredients, right? We learned that now we want a clean label.
Sure.
And a deep or a processed cheese doesn't fall into that category for the consumer's
Correct.
perspective.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit more about it?
Sure. So I'm not going to pretend to be a cheese expert. I am eating it, but when it comes to the formula, I've entrusted Cedar Lane and CMAB for all of us to work together to find what that natural cheese is going to look like, and how can we emulsify it, how can we formulate it to where it is a natural product with still having those same consistencies and flavors on the backside. So that is a challenge I'm up against, but I've already received 2 samples from Cedar Lane that have been made with Real California Milk certified cheese. So we're on path, but I don't have the full solution yet.
Donna.
Delicious product.
Thank you, Donna.
Cold too, which I was impressed by. What is the size of it, the package, and how much does that retail for?
12 ounces, and depending on the retailer, $5.99 to $6.99.
How does that compare to your competitors?
They are at $5.99 mostly. The reason we're at $6.99 is because when we sell to distribution, GFI for example, their markup adds $1, and it's a game we're playing with Kroger, because going into the warehouse direct with Kroger right away doesn't work. So once we prove we can be successful, we'll be able to get into the warehouse and go direct $5.99. Right.
You said east to west. What about north to south? I think you have a story to tell, and how will that work in those directions? And why are you not telling your story more? Because I do think that differentiates you from the other brands in a positive way. So
I'm still growing comfortable, or trying to get comfortable in my position with my story. What I told today, I never would have imagined I would have even brought it up that I was veteran owned. And so I understand that I need to leverage that a lot more, and I've improved since what we started on. North and South, it's for Publix, for example. We're pushing into Florida once we prove to be successful in the other states. We're in Texas. As far as North goes, I don't know yet, because I'm learning and I don't even know all of the retailers, and that's why.
Great. Chris.
Yeah, I loved your story, loved the product. I guess following up to Donna's question, like, I feel like there's a huge opportunity to kind of work with B2B space, government organizations. As far as like your sales going forward, do you see B2B being a large portion of your sales, or is it purely wanting to be direct to consumer? I'm just curious because if you're driving that message home and you're, being on, I don't have a military background, but I assume at the places where you get training, is that part of your story going forward?
Absolutely. The federal contracts, I'm a service-disabled veteran-owned small business. There are set-asides for government contracts for us. We are a priority. So when it comes to doing business with the VA, the commissaries, the military installations, those are set-asides. I'm a one-man show. And I've gone in the direction where the opportunities were. I had a vision of starting out in the commissary, but it didn't work that way. So I will get there. But at this point, I need to figure out from a business standpoint, who am I going to bring on that's going to make me the most successful and allow me to continue to push it? Did I answer everything or did I leave something off? Okay.
Don, do you have one?
Are you putting the seal on both manufacturing locations or just now?
Great question. So the idea right now, we're manufactured in Memphis, we're using Wisconsin cheese. And for Cedar Lane, the goal is obviously to use the seal here. I'm looking at their distribution. They're in all 50 states. So if it's possible, considering logistics costs for him, I don't see why this wouldn't be possible to one day transition all of my manufacturing to California. Plus, I'm probably moving out of Memphis soon, so.
Oh, I need to add something.
One more.
It's not a question, it's a suggestion. You need to go into little single serve and like try to get into those snack boxes and stuff like on the airlines or something like that.
So the customer, that was it. We needed a customer
That's what you need to do.
and a capability. Cedar Lane can do that. My current co-packer in Memphis cannot. So JetBlue wants 3-ounce containers with the aluminum seal or plastic seal, and then I have a customer there, then it's approach all the retailers and say.
So that's the story you need to tell us with the CMAB label on it and drive that and get it on all the flights to California from everywhere and the flights that go from all the little cities around here, and that drives California milk.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Great job, Andrew.
Appreciate you.
Next up is New Alchemy.
What if you could have a canned cocktail that tastes as good as a cocktail from the world's best restaurants and bars, made with the best craft distilled spirits, with fresh squeezed citrus juice and nothing artificial? Now you can, wherever and whenever you want.
Hello. I'm Jason. I'm one of the owners of New Alchemy Distilling. Thank you guys for having us here today. My partner Matt and my wife Chandra are in the audience as well. They're also owners of the company. I want to tell you about a product that we have spent the last 5 years working on. That story starts about 6 years ago when my wife and I were sitting at the Ad Hoc restaurant, which is one of Thomas Keller's bars and restaurants in Yountville, California. That evening, Vince Lee, who's his bar manager, came to us and said, "Hey, I've got something I want you to try." I made a cocktail, a clarified milk punch cocktail out of the Floret gin that you guys make, that we make at our distillery. My wife and I thought that it was not only the best cocktail we had ever had at his restaurant, but one of the best cocktails we'd ever had anywhere. So with their permission, we took the recipe back to the distillery, and we spent the next 5 years figuring out how to manufacture the product, scale it up so that it was shelf stable, and made with no chemicals and no artificial flavors, no stabilizers. So that's the background. Who in the audience is under 42 years old? All right, if you raised your hand, you are part of the 168 million Americans that make up the Gen Z and millennial market segment. You're almost triple the size of baby boomers in total size, but most importantly for us in the beverage alcohol industry, you're changing the face of beverage alcohol in your purchase behavior. Specifically, you are the driver behind the canned cocktail growth that has happened over the last 10 years. In 2023, canned cocktails constituted over $10.3 billion in total sales. That's more than double the size of mezcal and tequila combined. and it's now bigger than craft beer. Why is it that canned cocktails are growing at the rate that they're growing at? Well, the value proposition of canned cocktails is simple. If you could have a restaurant quality cocktail wherever and whenever you wanted for half the price, would you? So that was our vision, to take the exact same cocktail experience we had at Thomas Keller's restaurant and bring it to our consumers so that they could have it in the places and locations that we know that they like to drink. So at the beach, at the pool, at Yosemite. Up until now in the canned cocktail space, since 2017, the growth of canned cocktails has primarily been driven by two aspects of that value proposition, portability and convenience. But things are changing. So very recently, Drizzly, which you guys might have heard of, published a study that was also published by the Wall Street Journal, showing that canned cocktail consumers are moving away from hard seltzers and flavored malt beverages. In fact, hard seltzers dropped by 17% this year, giving way to premium spirits-based RTDs. So this means that the consumers are trying to find cocktails that more resemble what they would have in a nice restaurant or a bar. For us, this is an opportunity. So why clarified milk punch? Simply stated, clarified milk punch is the coolest thing happening in the cocktail world right now. If you spend any time looking at the social media or the menus of the best bars and mixologists in the nation, those menus are filled with clarified milk punch cocktails. If you guys watched the Netflix show Drink Masters, almost every mixologist on there made a clarified milk punch. So in the industry, it's definitely considered the coolest beverage that there is. So in order to make it, we partnered with Point Reyes Farmstead Cheese Company, a family-owned business run by two sisters, Jill and Lynn, and we've worked closely with their cheesemaker, Cuba, in order to source whey from their Toma cheese. Point Reyes Farmstead Cheese Company, of course, is devoted to animal welfare and sustainability. All of these are aspects that we know that our customers expect and demand out of their products. So they've been a great partner for us. Additionally, we're contributing 5% of our profits from the sales of spilt clarified milk punch to the Marin Agricultural Land Trust. This allows us to magnify the effect that Point Reyes is already having on their local ecology. So why New Alchemy Distilling? Well, we've been a distillery for 10 years. We already have market access to many of the most important markets in the United States. We already sell, as you can see, to many of the most important retailers of canned cocktails, and also a lot of independent bars and restaurants and independent bottle shops. We are a team of scientists turned distillers with a proven track record of making some of the best spirits in the world. We've won more than 3 double golds and best in classes at SF World Spirits, widely considered to be the Grammys of the spirits industry, and we already sell to all the best places. Most importantly, we already have approval for the Real California Milk label. So starting with batch 2, which we're working on right now, every box and can will have the Real California Milk logo on it. So yeah, your vote this evening for spilt clarified milk punch is a vote to get Real California Milk into the hands of today's and tomorrow's consumers in a way that they're not only going to be excited about, but they'll find compelling. And that's it.
Great job, Jason.
Thank you.
Can we take that from me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, let's jump to some questions here. Who's going to go first? Ben.
Position yourself for success against that sector? And can you use California milk in those products?
So it's a good question. Actually, a lot of these bars are making non-alcoholic clarified milk punches. So that's certainly something that we could consider. Our facility is a beverage alcohol facility, and since we are a manufacturer, we aren't regulated by the FDA currently. So we haven't moved into the non-alcoholic space. We've been asked by many brands if we could help produce those for them. I think that one of the most important things, and one of the reasons that we're here tonight, is to educate the population on clarified milk punch. All the taste makers out there already know about it. We believe that it's going to continue to become popular, and we could certainly manufacture a non-alcoholic version if that became something we thought was promising. Yeah,
Chris.
Is it on? Okay. I had a quick question about, I think sometimes on a product, you have to educate the consumer on it. It's a little bit of friction, right? So what's your marketing strategy to get customers excited about this and even knowledgeable that it exists, it's tasty, and it's accessible if they need to buy it on Drizzly or whatever their preferred platform is.
So we've thought a lot about this. My friend Juliana runs Colangelo and Partners, which is the biggest, I think, beverage alcohol PR and marketing firm. She was in my MBA program, and we have talked to her a whole bunch about it. And some of the people that we worked with in this program also I spoke with. We know right now the most important thing is to get cans in hands and get our sales team in front of people. So the retailers that we work with, so Total Wine in Texas, and Whole Foods here in California allows us to do in-store demos. So a big part of it is just getting our sales team in front of people doing those demos. But also, luckily, we're able to use a lot of this product as samples and go to places like music festivals and things like that to help promote the product. We also have a robust set of photography now, and the story is doing really well when we pitch it to magazines. We've had 3 publications, and we've got 3 more that are already publishing about the story, and that's been since we launched in early October. So we're definitely looking at it from that angle as well. We also have social media influencers that we're looking to work with, and we've already done a ton of like targeted marketing through social media for our spirits products. So whenever we launch in a new location, we'll geotag people that have interest in cocktails and in the age bracket and the finance bracket that we want to sell to. Yeah.
As you think about scaling this up, you've got the one partner that you're using the whey from. What's the strategy that you're thinking about of how to scale this as it? If it's successful.
As it's successful, I hope it is. So currently Point Reyes makes about 7,000 gallons a week of whey from their Toma cheese. So for us, that's about 50% of our final product, so that's about 14,000 gallons a week in cans. So the time horizon for when we would need to add or move to another dairy is out there, hopefully, but I think we have a little bit of time to plan for that. We know that smaller cheese manufacturers are often looking to get rid of their whey. They're not using their whey themselves, and so they're often selling it off as animal feed or something like that. And there's plenty of those in California. The important thing for us is to take the whey and get it on the high proof gin right away so that the acidification doesn't drop off right away. So we'll probably be needing to use people that are local to us, our distilleries in El Dorado Hills, so that we can get it on the alcohol right away.
I was just wondering, Spilt, how did you come up with that? There must be a background behind that name.
There is. So we've had all kinds of fun with trademarks in the past. We got in a fight with Constellation Brands over one of our other products, and we won that fight. So we knew we wanted something that was trademarkable. So we spent a lot of time researching words that we thought referred to milk, because milk is the most important thing in a clarified milk punch product. But we wanted it to be tangential, right? And so we thought of things like 8 maids or spilt, which refer in people's minds to don't cry over spilt milk or 8 maids of milking. So we came up with a lot of those ideas, and this was the most trademarkable one and the one that was a single word that would look obvious on the can. And some people get it right away and some people don't, but yeah.
Carmen.
Yes, so I'm curious about the clarified milk punch. How would you explain clarified milk? Because me as a scientist, I think about water or other stuff. We normally don't use
clarified milk.
That word.
Yeah, for sure. So I wanted to talk all about this, but I didn't have enough time. And one of the reasons that I think it's a great product is that it's got this fascinating 300-year-old history. So punch used to be the most important mixed drink there was before we had bars. And in the early 1700s, they started mixing milk with it and filtering out the milk solids. And one thing I didn't mention is that it's not just a gimmick. Those milk solids bind with phenolic compounds and they soften tannins in a way that makes the drink better than it would be if you had not clarified it with milk. So mixologists know all about this. You'll see clarified drinks all over menus. And people are starting to realize that this process is something that makes the cocktail better than it would be if you hadn't treated it this way. So a lot of it is telling that story, but what we find is that people like to tell stories about the products that they're purchasing and brag about them to each other, and clarified milk punch is that thing. When you go to a lot of these high-end 2 and 3 Michelin star restaurants and you ask the bartenders, why are you using clarified milk punch cocktails on your menu? They say it surprises the customer because they see clarified milk punch and then they get something different than they might be expecting, because it's not just a can full of Kahlua, right? It's clear and it's bright and citrusy. Yeah.
Donna.
19% booze?
Well, so here's what I'll tell you about that. First of all, the most important thing is that allows us not to use Velcorin in the can. And if you guys want to look up Velcorin, just type in Velcorin MSDS, and it'll scare probably everybody. And we've worked with Velcorin before when with other brands that we've made canned cocktails, and somebody comes out in a bunny suit and they dose the stuff into the can, and you can't drink the can for the next couple of days because it's pretty dangerous. So what we found is that if we have it at 19%, which is actually the percentage that cocktail originally was at Thomas Keller's restaurant, and if you go into a bar, what many cocktails are, the alcohol alone is enough to stabilize it. So we want to be able to tell people that we aren't using any kind of stabilizers or chemicals in it. And so we actually took information from port producers who've been making shelf-stable products that have alcohol and sugar in them. You can drink 40-year-old ports and they're still totally safe to drink. And the reason is simply because the alcohol is at or above 18.5%. So.
You said bunny suit and you lost me there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what about lactose intolerance? What about allergies and all of that? I know that alcohol falls into a whole different spectrum, but how does that labeling impact that?
Yeah, so it's a good question. I mean, my wife and I have a medical background as well, and we are not going to put lactose free on here because it's not lactose free. But lactose intolerance typically is not it's not a yes or no thing. It's a threshold thing. And for most people that have a lactose intolerance, like myself, like Matt, our head distiller, by the time you had enough lactose from drinking these things, you'd have other problems. Part of it is being 19% alcohol. But we do have these strategically sitting at the milk counters where we're selling them because we know that self-selects for people also that are not milk averse. But we think it has so much history and story that we find that bartenders are not finding people walking away from clarified milk punches at these restaurants. So, yeah.
Awesome. I just have to say, as a Gen Xer, I've never heard of clarified milk punch.
We got to get you to nicer restaurants, Don. All right, great job.
Thank you so much.
You have the clicker? Yeah, I got it. Left up there.
Over time, we departed ways from beneficial symbiotic bacteria that maintained our ancestors' health. As our bodies are relentlessly yearning to be reintroduced to these ancient strains, we developed yogurt to streamline the process. Yogurt looks and tastes like yogurt, but it's not yogurt at all. It's made of only 3 natural ingredients: California milk, our probiotic blend, and potato starch. Fortify and improve your health with yogurt.
And we've all had those bad days, those days where maybe we ate something that didn't quite agree with us, or we were just sick and we had to stay by the bathroom all day. But for millions of Americans, those days are every day. Somewhere between 25 and 45 million Americans are suffering from chronic IBS caused by small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, otherwise known as SIBO. And I was one of those people. And I went to the doctor several times in the last year, only to find that they had no answers. They could just give you antibiotics that only worked half the time, and it didn't just kill off any bad microbes, it killed off all the good ones with it. And you can take probiotic pills, but they really don't have enough probiotics to be efficacious. So that left me looking for something else that I could use to help solve my problems. And I came across the ability to amplify probiotics by culturing them into a yogurt. And thus Nourisha was born. Nourisha yogurt restores keystone probiotics that address SIBO in 60 days. And these aren't some microbes that were made in a lab. These are the microbes that your grandparents had, but we've lost them in our modern diet and due to antibiotics. And so what we're looking to do is create a whole new category of food therapeutics. Unlike antibiotics, the probiotics that are in Nourisha yogurt selectively target the bad microbes, but leave all your good microbes intact. And unlike probiotic pills, because we have all the prebiotics and we build this into a yogurt, it has a much more efficacious effect, maybe an order of magnitude more. But best of all, it tastes almost like dessert. And it has no artificial flavors or extra flavors at all, or added sugars. And I need to say, because this is public talk, we don't have anything that cures something yet, because that only comes through clinical trials with the FDA. But that's what we're doing right now. We've already approached the FDA. We're talking to them about taking a medical version of this yogurt and taking it through an investigational new drug and bringing it out as a therapy for doctors. So going through clinical trials is a long time, but because we're using safe probiotics that were common in everyone's microbiome, we can release this now as a food product. And that's what you're tasting today. But we have plans to go beyond just the SIBO, because all the research that UCLA is doing is showing that there's different probiotics that address different gut microbe syndromes that you have. And we're looking to be the leader in that category. So some simple math on how big this market is. A single yogurt for $5, 60 days of treatment, one a day, that's $300 for a treatment, times 35 million Americans that have SIBO, that's $10.5 billion. If you're talking about addressing general IBS, that's $25.5 billion. And if you're talking about antibiotic aftercare, that's over $75 billion annually. And our testers are seeing such good results, they use it well beyond the 60 days. So what this means for California Milk is a new multi-billion-dollar channel. California Milk sold by doctors, distributed by pharmacists. We've built an experienced team to get this going. Myself, I've got experience taking medical products through FDA and into manufacturing. My co-founder, Anna, was the marketing and innovation director at Kraft Heinz, Burger King, Tim Hortons. My other co-founder, Kaylin, was the plant director at Dannon and Stonyfield. We're just getting started. We made our first prototypes in April. Our company kicked off with this accelerator in August. We're now just about to launch our first products, and we're looking to scale up next year and go into first clinical trials. Food is medicine. When I was a kid, every school lunch came with some milk because everyone knew milk builds child's health. Let's bring milk back not just as nutrition, but as medicine. Thank you.
Great job, Jonathan.
You said it at the end there. It is right on track with the whole food is medicine movement and trend that's going on right now. I'm curious, though, it's a very technical story. How do you make that palatable for the average consumer?
So we're capitalizing, I mean, there's a few things that are going on. Well, one, we're positioning ourselves as gut health, but we're also sort of targeting people that have these syndromes, because we can't, until we have a product that's actually a therapeutic, we can't really say we cure anything. But when we give it to somebody who has these diseases and we see results in like 7 days, they become super fans of the product and start telling everybody how well this has worked for them. So we're kind of starting with a strategy with that, sort of targeting people that do that. I mean, the other thing is, just putting, a spoon in someone's mouth of this too, because it's a creamy, great yogurt that kind of is also pure and clean, that kind of differentiates itself. And also, we're the clean food, the probiotics, those are all trends. And the fact that people want functional foods, but not engineered foods.
Chris.
Yeah, I had a question about the FDA approval process. I know that can be very costly and time consuming, and you don't necessarily get FDA approval in the end. Is this necessary for your customers, or is it more so, just to open up a different market for you?
I mean, it works. I think the business works both ways, really. And that's kind of why we're releasing it first as a food, and it de-risks the rest of it. But once you get it through FDA, if you get it through FDA, now Medicare will pay for the yogurt. So, I mean, that's a big deal. The doctors start now prescribing it. It comes on a formulary. That just breaks the market wide open. So I think it's really worth it.
So a dose is 4 ounces, right? One of these things. How many calories is it roughly?
I did calculate those figures, but I don't have it. But I don't have it off the top of my head.
Knowing that you're going through FDA and you're doing some other clinical studies, are there other claims though that you can put on pack like other probiotic dairy products do?
Yeah, we're looking to do that. I mean, we don't have that on our labeling yet. I mean, we're going to be sending these out to testing, and we're going to be putting, the trillions of probiotic claim on the front and the type of strains and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. We don't. I mean, we're just making the labels to just get it to the show today, so we're still working on that.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Jonathan. So could you talk about your biggest opportunities at your company? Is it the processing of the yogurt today, or is it your sales team? And what are you going to do to address those areas?
Can you say the question again?
The biggest opportunities in your company, is it the sales side? Is it the processing side to get it commercialized? And what are you going to do to address those opportunities?
You mean like challenges or opportunities?
Yeah, challenges, and how are you going to address those? So,
Okay.
How strong is your sales team?
Anna, being the former head of marketing at Kraft Heinz, has a lot of experience bringing those to market. As far as the sales team, this is my 5th business venture. So, I'm kind of used to just hitting the streets and talking to people as much as possible and really looking to kind of do start demos in a small store and build out in concentric circles as we build our distribution, our capacity as well, so that we can kind of match it and make sure when we go into a new store that we're ready to supply them and also have an interest in the neighborhood to be able to support that without coming off the shelf.
Donna.
Yeah.
You got to ditch the whole FDA thing. I'm sorry. It's not going to take you to where you need to be. This is a great product. I think it would be much better in a tub called a bagel spread with some extra flavorings in it. You can put how many probiotics are on there. If you indeed have a prebiotic in there, I never heard of potato starch as being a prebiotic, but I could be wrong, but claiming that. But that would be a great bagel spread. A high protein, keto friendly even at this point.
Yeah.
You can't really put a keto friendly bagel. You can't have a bagel with the keto diet, but so wrong there. But yeah, come on, really? You think that's going to happen in the next year or two? I'm still waiting.
No,
for
I
them
don't.
to
I don't. We don't
regulate.
think it's going to happen in the next year or two at all. No, I absolutely don't believe. But the fact is that we have people that.
I've got people too.
Yeah, no, that people that are in diapers who've now gone off them. It's a big deal.
But you need to do something in the interim
Yeah.
to survive, because that's just not going to happen. But it's a
No,
great
I
bagel
agree. But the product works in several ways beyond just the FDA. The FDA is where we're going to go eventually. Right now, the team you saw we built is a food team. These are people that know how to do food and bring food to market. And we're working through the positioning and kind of finding how that food first works, beyond just the medicine.
So to protect yourself from a lot of the other folks that are out there in the
Sure.
tubs and and spreads and things like that, are there patents? Do you have a protection mechanism in place to help you differentiate on that side?
We're working on that. We've talked to some microbiology companies about sort of developing a custom strain of this, so that when we go sort of both to market as food and as an FDA approved facility, then it will be more. We'll have more remote for people to follow.
Can you share what strains you have?
Yeah, sure. So the main strain is L. reuteri. We have Bifidobacillus bifidus. I'm saying that one wrong. And then L-gasseri is the third one. And the reuteri and the gasseri are the ones that have sort of the antibiotic type compounds, and the bifidus is well known for treating IBS. But it also gives the flavor to it.
Have your suppliers actually conducted studies that you can piggyback off of for your
Yeah. No, like the Reuteri is maybe the most studied probiotic on the planet. And it has, if you just put L. reuteri in a search engine, you will come up with all kinds of NIH studies, all kinds of research of it addressing much more than SIBO. Yeah.
It's in
Great.
Stonyfields, right? And it's a
There is
Swedish
a Stonyfield
company.
has one product that has a little bit of reuteri, but at a much smaller amount.
Jonathan, great job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Max and I'm the Varno of Petit Pot. When I grew up in the south of France, as a little boy, I was eating delicious creamy desserts after each meal. And I don't know if you've been to a grocery store in France or in Europe, but the dessert category is huge. There are so many options. So when I arrived in America to work as a pastry chef in the restaurant industry, and I found this at the grocery store, I was appalled. I was just like, why? I didn't quite understand it. So as a pastry chef, I decided to just take care of it. And I decided to create recipes. And this is how Petit Pot got started. So about 8 years ago, I started Petit Pot. And today, we're the #1 dessert brand in the natural channel and at Whole Foods. It also, this year, we've been elected the coolest thing in California. And also the top 10 trends at Whole Foods. So Petit Pot today is in glass jars, and everyone loves our desserts. But the biggest issue that everyone keeps saying is just too expensive. It's delicious, it's amazing, but it's just too pricey. Right now, it's $5.99 for a pack of 2. So this is why we're presenting you today with our newest packaging in paper-based cups. And this new packaging is really allowing us to drop our price point to $3.99 every day. And I'm excited to tell you today that we're actually launching right now, as we speak, at Publix and at Target. So our new paper-based cup is exactly the same product, the same delicious product that everyone loves. Clean, simple ingredients, like you would make it at home. Milk, cream, eggs, and sugar. And it's delicious and creamy. And it comes in this new packaging that is very innovative. It's a paper-based cup. It's 80% paper-based from sustainable forest. So we are manufactured in California, in Emeryville, so right around the corner from here. And we have our own manufacturing. It's a 20,000 square feet facility. We're SQF #2. And we have an amazing team of people in R&D with me as a pastry chef to develop new products. So we can come up with new product very quickly and be in market just like that. We also have this amazing team that I've been recruiting for the past 8 years really. Eric, our CEO, used to be at Danone and 3M, so he has huge experience in the CPG industry. Eugene, our CMO, was at Plum Organics in Del Monte, and Pierre, our head of sales, was Kohlhaas Ice Cream before. So we have this amazing, talented people that will really help us take Petit Pot to the next level. We are manufactured in California, and we're excited to tell you that we are now having the seal on our packaging. So we had the issue before with the glass jar. There was just not enough real estate for it. But the next batches of cups that will be printed, that are being printed right now, will have the seal, and we're very excited about that. Our milk comes from Clover, so you're probably familiar with it, which is a local dairy here in Petaluma. And I'm very excited to tell you that we're launching at Publix and Target, but this new cup with this new price point is really allowing us to just go to the mass market. We can now talk to Kroger, Albertson, Safeway, and you name it. And also with this new cup, because of the glass, we could not go into airlines. They just didn't want to take glasses. And so now we're able to talk to airlines. So please, help us take Petit Pot to the next level and get it into more hands. Thank you.
That's awesome. Great. Okay, who would like to go first? John.
All right. So the product is out of this world, amazing, fabulous,
Thank
to
you.
die for. My question is, in an indulgent category like this, how do you make sustainability delicious?
So the packaging, I think, is key here. And this is why so when we started, we worked with glass, which is highly recyclable. And now we're working with paper-based cup from sustainable sources. Also, we're trying to work with local players as much as possible. This is why we work with Clover Dairy. And the dairy, the milk, the cream, it's 60%, even more, like I think it's 68% of our product. And so we're trying to source this within 100 miles of us. So that's how we're trying to stay as sustainable as possible.
Did I see in the picture that it used to be organic? Or is that?
It used to be organic in a glass.
So you're going organic glass to conventional.
Exactly.
Have you ever thought about, like, you probably got a following, right? In certain.
Yes.
Are you going to maintain both? Or
Yes.
You are. Okay.
Yes. So we're keeping the glass for the natural channel. So Whole Foods, NCG, Infra, glass, and then the mass markets is going with the paper.
Okay, that makes sense.
But we're getting a feeling that if it's going to be very popular, and ultimately I could imagine over the next 5 years that it might just switch completely. It's just the price point is just so much more interesting. Yeah.
What do you view as the biggest threat to your business going forward?
Competition, probably. Yeah, I mean, we're dealing with Jell-O and Cozy Shack. So clearly we're a different product, we're much better, but how do you convey that at the shelf? We don't have the deep pockets that those players have. And so having your guys' help and CMAB will help us with that. Yeah.
So when you look at your glass business right now, do you see places in the U.S. where you think this is going to be bigger? You're obviously going with big retailers with these, but is there a particular area of the U.S. you think you should target for this?
For the glass?
And also for this dessert.
And you're talking
this dessert
geography?
type, this dessert type pudding.
Honestly, so far we've been touching a very premium market. So it's very high-end consumers. And so this is why, and we feel like we're tapped out a little bit that market with our glass jars. And this is why we're launching our paper-based cup that is allowing us to it just makes more sense for a lot more people, basically. Right now it's just Whole Foods shopper, and we're trying to attract the mass shopper. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Max.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm late for work, but I need something. No. Definitely not. Ugh. Oh, fine, a pickle. I'm not a rabbit, I need something filling. Huh, Shakewell. 30 grams of protein, no added sugar. Delicious. We gotta go. 30 grams of protein, no added sugar. Shakewell, crush snacking.
G'day, my name's Luke Cook. I'm the co-founder of Shakewell, a brand new protein drink. You may be able to notice from my accent, I am not from California. I'm from the South, the deep, deep South of the world. Okay, let's have some fun. Picture this, you go to the gym and you get a great workout in, you're sweating, you're feeling great, your muscles are tired, they need replenishing. So you go and get yourself a grab-and-go protein drink. It's got a big laundry list of ingredients, half of which you can't pronounce, but it has 20 grams of protein, so that's pretty good. Open the cap, and take a sip, and bam! You're assaulted with this rubbery, gluey thing. And are you going to keep drinking the drink? Yeah, it's got 20 grams of protein in it. Are you going to buy the same protein drink next week? Maybe. Do you want to? No. Well, I'm done with that. So earlier in the year, I'm over at my friend Anya's house, my now co-founder. I say, Anya, someone needs to do a great protein drink. She said, Luke, I'm a cheese maker. I make my own fresh liquid whey. Would you like to try some? So today we present to you Shakewell, the first of its kind protein drink to utilize the power of fresh liquid whey. 30 grams of protein, 170 calories, no added sugar, only 7 ingredients. We are aiming at people in Generation X, Y, and Z. Generation X, Y, and Z people who prioritize their health. Why? Because they're otherwise known as Generation Active. They are 80% of all gym goers, and over 50% of those people are unhappy with the taste and quality on offer by other protein drinks. So, there is 3 reasons why ShakeWell is the best protein drink in the world. Number 1, 30 grams of 100% digestible protein. Number 2, a perfect ingredients list. I'm an ingredients reader. Over 74% of millennials say they are concerned with potentially harmful ingredients in their food. We have a short ingredients list. We embolden on the back of our bottles because we're proud of it, and you'll notice it's all pronounceable. So, we start with fresh Californian liquid whey, grass-fed whey protein isolate. We have 3 flavors, all organic: lime hibiscus, matcha, and vanilla. A low-calorie sweetener in the form of allulose, and then less than 1% of stevia, lactase, and a little bit of salt, which we add to each bottle just like that. Just like that little shake that he just did, exactly that. Cool. The third reason that we're the best in the world is because we taste good. We don't taste like glue, which is quite a concept for a protein drink. You'll have noticed if you've tried ShakeWell, it has a light, satisfying taste with a clean mouthfeel, and that is because of our hero ingredient, fresh Californian liquid whey. We are the first protein drink to utilize the power of fresh liquid whey. But you may be asking, what is the power of fresh liquid whey? It's incredibly micronutrient rich. It's very high in potassium, phosphorus. It's also high in calcium, magnesium, and beta-lactoglobulin. It is comparable to the macronutrients in high-quality electrolytes. It has been used for thousands of years. Hippocrates gave it to his clients in 300 BC when they had skin and gastrointestinal problems. In the 1800s, this is real, you could go to a thing called a whey spa and you could drink fresh liquid whey while bathing in fresh liquid whey. They had to stop doing that though because people were drowning. They were in way over their heads. Okay, so what's the plan? We're launching direct to consumer. Los Angeles only on January 15. We want to start small. We want to nail our distribution and manufacturing. How are we going to get the word out though? Well, we have an inbuilt social media following. I am an actor. I have a following of 2 million people across the various platforms. My co-founder, Anya, is an entrepreneur, a chef, a cheesemaker. She has 50,000 followers. We have a combined newsletter of 100,000 people. So what does the future look like? We don't just want to nail protein drinks. We also want to nail protein snacking, or protein snacking. Think about protein pudding or protein ice cream, protein popsicles. Think about protein bars. I want ShakeWell to be the snack you reach for to feel full and look great. But let me finish on this. Why should Real California Milk want to partner with us? Well, there is a need for a high-quality, clean, healthy protein drink on the market, and there isn't one. Together we can conquer that problem. But also, Real California Milk has real sustainability goals. Cows are incredible upcyclers. We want to upcycle for them. There is no dairy producer that wants to tip liquid whey down the drain. We want to buy it from you. ShakeWell wants to illuminate fresh liquid whey as A, sustainable, which it is, B, nutritious, which it is, and C, delicious, which it is. Thank you.
Great job, great job.
Thank you, man, thank you.
All right, who's up first?
Thank you. Great product. It's very delicious. So my question is, what is your shelf life? Because depending on how you are sourcing the whey, you might have bacteria there that will keep acidifying the whey.
Yes. We have a shelf life of 60 days. That's what we can say right now. Yeah. We're working towards making that better. Yeah.
Donna.
So very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Why adding extra salt? Because you made a big deal about that. And the sodium content is already really too high for somebody who has to watch sodium intake.
Yep.
And you're not promoting the fact that it's high in electrolytes, which you should be doing.
You're right.
So can you give me a little more?
Yeah, the electrolytes thing is a new thing that I was like, what is the power of fresh liquid whey? And looking into it more, I was like, wow, this is actually blowing me away. The potassium, phosphorus particularly. We've already cut down the salt content. Those nutritionals are from a week ago before we decided to cut down the salt content. It wasn't until we saw the nutritionals we were like, wow, that's a fair bit of sodium. I mean, it's what, 500 grams? I'm not sure.
It's almost 40% of your daily value in one drink. I mean,
I
wouldn't be able to have a French fry.
I would recommend that you go a high salt diet and a low sugar diet, personally. I wouldn't worry about salt as much as I'd worry about sugar.
Noel, how about you?
So I'm worried about how you're going to market this product. Can you tell me what's going to make this thing jump off of the shelf? Now, I know there's, you told us all these things that are different about it, but there are a lot of high protein shakes and other drinks that are out there in this space. So what's going to make the consumer look at this and pick it up off the shelf? What's going to make you stand out?
A small, incredible ingredients list. It is not a thing that a protein drink has an ingredients of less than 7. Not a thing. Even a Fairlife, I had a Fairlife today. It's like, okay, first 5 ingredients I'm cool with. What's these other 5? What are they? And that is not a thing, as far as I can see in any of the protein drinks I'm looking at. But furthermore, they're all people I think consumers are really looking at. What is that thing I can't pronounce? If I go home and I Google it, what is that exactly? And what is sucralose? And what is high fructose corn syrup? And what are these things that have been added that have always been in our food and we've never asked why? And I think people are starting to ask why in a big, big way, particularly in my generation. As I said, 74% of millennials are looking at it and going, what is going on? What are we actually being fed here? And Shakewell wants to bring that to the forefront and go, hey, we're not trying to mess you up. There's nothing in here that doesn't need to be in there.
In my generation would say, why the hell is there so much sodium in there?
Yes.
I mean, seriously, you're talking more than 1/3. I mean, this is ridiculous. And I'm drinking like salt. I feel like I'm putting salt in my hand and doing a tequila shot.
Do you find the taste salty?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, interesting. Well, we've already cut it back. As I said, we cut it back by down a quarter. When we saw those nutritionals, we weren't happy with it either. Donna, we weren't happy. So we cut it down already. How? By cutting out, by putting less in.
Well, how? I mean, I'm guessing a major sodium contributor is the whey.
No, the
And then
pink
you're
salt.
adding, but you were just putting a pinch in, you said.
Just a pinch. I mean, it is less than 1% of the whole product. It is a lot of sodium, and you're right. And when we saw those nutritionals, as I said, wasn't happy with it. So we're cutting down on it. My eventual thing is I would like to cut the stevia from it. I think that there's also an issue there with what people think about stevia. I don't think it's correct, but if people are worried about things like people have been worried about salt, we have to listen to them. So we've already cut down the salt, and I'd like to cut down the stevia one day.
Chris, John, do you all have a question?
Yeah, sure. I think it's great that you already have a following. Both co-founders have a following. What are some unique things you're going to do with your go-to-market strategy as far as getting people really excited, like getting super followers, super fans that really are a tool when you're launching?
Yeah. I think it's really important to get liquid on lips at this point. We're offering a $10 box, trial box for a 6-pack, which I think is a really good offering. Getting it into their hands, doing tastings. I work at a gym, so doing tastings there, doing tastings at a farmer's market, just making sure that people who are interested in such a thing get it. But also there is so many offerings that you can do via social media now, especially that we're going D2C. There is entirely a thing that I could put out, a particular code for only my followers that gives them a $5, 6-pack. So that's certainly something to play with. Yeah.
Since you're in refrigerated and it's going to be direct to consumer, so your box is, what's the price point going to be when someone actually orders it?
Yes, so it's $8 a bottle and then $5.75 for a 12-pack subscription. So it's a pretty robust subscription method. $5.75's pretty good for 30 grams of protein. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
In the heart of Southern California's Redondo Beach, the Empanada Shop stands as a beacon of culinary innovation. Our secret weapon? Real California cheese. The heart and soul of our empanadas. Ruben pairs real California cheese with authentic Mexican chilies to craft an experience that's both local and global. And as we look to our future, with your support, we envision our authentic flavors infused with California essence, gracing tables nationwide.
Have you guys ever had an empanada without cheese? It tastes incomplete. Once I have my empanadas with cheese, real California cheese, it takes me back to the comfort that I had making empanadas and eating empanadas with my family in Monterrey, Mexico. That's what my whole journey actually started, for the love of cheese and empanadas. This is basically what I see when I'm walking down the frozen aisles. Basically, empanadas with no cheese, lots of labels, and labels with ingredients that I can't even pronounce. We're talking about ultra-processed ingredients. And I'm not familiar with that because my family's empanadas have, I think, one of those ingredients somewhere. But it's just to show you the contrast between our empanadas and what's out there. I knew there was an opportunity to create an empanada with authentic Mexican ingredients, and also that are with quality, with taste, and real ingredients. We're talking about ingredients from the ground and also from the farm. So there's a lot of opportunities there in terms of empanada development. Our empanadas are delicious, they're nutritious, and they're sustainable. So basically what you're seeing, what you're tasting, is a complete clean label. So this is our secret kind of sauce here. And this is what differentiates us from everybody who's making empanadas out there. So each empanada has its own personality. We slow cook our meats, and we pair them with Mexican cheeses, with dry chilies such as ancho chili and guajillo. And then we add the cheese, but it's a unique cheese, such as Oaxaca cheese, panela, or a fresco, or a cotija. So the cheese is an integral part of the empanada. It basically absorbs all the flavors, all the ingredients, the chilies and the juices when it's baked. And basically what that does, it complements the whole process, and it complements the empanada as the main center stage, based on all these combinations that you're seeing. So the empanadas has 2 touch points. CPG, single serve in frozen aisles, and also prepared foods in the delis. This is a great opportunity to have the Real California Milk seal. There's a lot of visibility. This is based on Whole Foods, but you can see how our empanadas are branded from the freezer aisle all the way through the deli section. So that was really cool of Whole Foods doing that. So we started in Malibu Farmers Market. We got our certifications. We worked with local distributors in the greater California area. We were approached by Whole Foods for a CPG grab-and-go empanada. And then quickly, Kroger called us. We met with the buyers in Cincinnati. They loved the empanadas, and they rolled us into Ralph's in Southern California. And then 2020, we got hit with COVID pandemic. So it was very difficult for us to source organic ingredients. So we pause, we pivot, and we realign our business, and we develop a strategy for scaling. But what we wanted to do is, when we scaled, we wanted to make sure that we diversified our market shares and not have too much concentration on one customer. So how are we going to do this? So our goal is to focus on California and just own California as much as possible. There's so many opportunities here in California now, post-pandemic. So we're talking to LAX. They're very interested in having our empanadas in one of their new terminals. And we're also talking to SoFi. They would like to have our empanadas as a residency in one of the food courts. So as you can see, a lot of opportunities on food halls and especially in the college circuit there. And by the way, just California alone will be fantastic. But we're not stopping there. So we want to go back to the national, again, we just want to make sure that we secure California as being our main customer base. And then we're going to go east, north, and west, south. So how are we going to do this? So marketing is one of our biggest things we want to do. And it's actually what's working for us for everything that we're doing. I got to speed it up here. So our Empanadas or Destination Driver, that is in Redondo Beach. We have people coming in, doing social media for us. It's just kind of building its own world. So my goal is for everyone here in this room, whether you're going to a concert in California or going to the 49ers game, you're going to be able to have an empanada with the real California milk seal. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hold on, they're going to ask you some questions.
Oh, okay, yes.
Now comes the hard part.
Oh, boy.
I'll avoid Donna for a second to let you warm up. Noel, why don't you go first?
Okay, so I have an easy question for you. Is there any way we can include any more dairy in your empanadas? So it was fantastic, it's delicious. I'm just thinking, is there any way we can include more, I don't know, maybe some kind of crema or something, or maybe even make a keto version with like a cheese instead of the it's a wonderful flaky crust, but some people are trying to cut down on that type of thing. So could we do maybe like a cheese crust on it? Have you looked into something like that?
Yes, I mean, you gotta see my kitchen. I have all the ingredients and tools, absolutely, especially the cheeses. With the empanada, you just gotta be careful they don't blow up and they don't leak. And that's one of the hardest things about, and that's why we designed that particular dough to support all the cheeses. Because if you guys ever made an empanada, it does break apart very quickly. But yes, we're definitely on the quest to develop new products, and cheese is going to be the main part.
Great. Don, you want to go?
This is the item like in Whole Foods, as well as the food service. That's the same size, same item that was selling for $3.99.
It's the same item, yeah.
Okay.
So with Whole Foods, we deliver in cases, frozen, and basically what they do, they break them up and put them also in the refrigerated area in tubes. And then in frozen aisle, it's basically in the package.
But when you go to like the stadiums or whatnot, that's the same product.
It's all the same product, all the way across.
So they could be able to sell it, I mean, at a reasonable price.
Yes.
Because stadiums don't. So,
yes.
That would, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ben.
So as you scale up, you grow your California business, and then you're looking to expand across the rest of the U.S. Is there any differences in the empanada flavor profile between the California consumer versus the rest of the country?
No. So it's the same product. We tested everything. We will make sure that with the packaging, it's a low moisture packaging as well, and it's eco-friendly. It's made out of like a rice resin, so it doesn't break apart and it handles itself very well. But it's the same product all the way across.
And one other question: have you tested this your recipe with, say, authentic empanada makers versus, say, mainstream consumers who don't really know much about empanadas? What has the feedback been?
So our empanadas are very unique because they're Mexican. Most empanadas and the people that I know that make empanadas, they're Argentinian empanadas. So I took a road trip down South America to really get in it. And I tested the empanadas from Peru, Colombia, El Salvador, and they're all very unique. So most of them are actually fried. But the key thing about our empanadas, they're made with cheese. like 90% of those empanadas don't have any cheese. So that's the key differentiator. And that's why we're sticking with California.
So you said that your recipes, you kind of pair your ingredients with a certain
Yes.
type of cheese.
Yes.
So why don't you use that in the name instead of just calling them cheese? Because cheese could be whatever. You use that particular fresco or cotija
Yes.
in the name, so we can as consumers identify, oh, this is the type of empanada I'm getting. So it's more like a suggestion instead of a question.
Yeah, no, it's a valid one. But when we got into labeling with the FDA, they wanted to be very clear because a lot of people don't know what an añejo chili cheese is. So we needed to generalize it. So we went back and forth, and there's only so much real estate you can put in that thing, on that packaging. So we want to be very clear, especially the first time we rolled it out nationally.
Chris.
I was looking at that early slide you had on competitors about empanadas without cheese. A package you had on there was a Jamaican patty. I'm actually Jamaican. We don't
Yep.
put cheese in our patties,
Yeah.
so that wouldn't even be like a competitor. But is there, as far as your brand story, do you market it as an empanada from a certain region? Like, I just want to know more of that story because I think that's the really cool, interesting part, other than the logo and the trucker hats, but just that story, because I would not see an empanada as a competitor to like a Jamaican patty, like very different things.
Yes, absolutely. So we do want to focus, well, our empanadas they're all regional in Mexico. These empanadas are actually from Monterrey, Mexico, Blancos there, and that's mainly because of the meats and how they braise the meats and how they pair them with the chilies. But Monterrey, Mexico, and that whole northern region is a very cheese-centric part of Mexico, next to Oaxaca, right? But going back to your point on the patties, a great friend of mine from New York opened his store, patties. So we shared a lot of the process and the manufacturing aspect of it. So we're not too separated.
Yeah. Well, no cheese, but.
No cheese, yeah.
Don.
What's cook time? So if you go to a stadium, they throw it in, someone orders it.
So the way that model works, we deliver the empanadas frozen, and they have those turbo chefs, kind of like what Starbucks, what they have. And it's 1.5 to 1.75 a minute. So it's almost instant. Yeah. And now there's more equipment, there's better equipment than the turbo chefs when they came out 8 years ago. Yeah.
Great job. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonder Cow goes back 7 generations of family dairy farms. Dairy took on a whole new meaning when we discovered something that would change our lives forever.
At a year old, our daughter kept getting sick. Multiple rounds of antibiotics ended up impairing her gut.
As dairy farmers, we knew firsthand the power of colostrum, so we decided to try it for our family.
It's an all-natural, easy-to-use superfood that helped heal our daughter.
Rebuild your gut, support your immune system.
Live wonderfully.
All right, well, thank you for sticking around. I'm Erica Deeperslope.
And I'm Rob Deepersloop, and we're dairy farmers from Madera, California, and the founders of Wonder Cow.
And we are super passionate about Wonder Cow because it has drastically changed our lives. Rob and I became parents 6.5 years ago. Our daughter was born, and if any of you are parents, you know that just opens a brand new chapter of so much love, more love than you can ever imagine. And for us, it was a lot of learning. Our oldest daughter got sick a lot as a baby. By 1.5 years, she had already had 9 ear infections in a row, and her doctors just kept prescribing antibiotics. And this overuse of antibiotics ended up hurting her gut. And then in turn, that affected her immune system. So after that, she kept getting sick, and it felt like anytime any kid next to her sneezed or coughed, she would catch whatever bug or cold went around. And I can't tell you how many sleepless nights we spent up in her cute little nursery upstairs trying to rock our crying baby back to sleep. And you know, as parents, you just want what's best for your child, right? You just want to stop the pain, stop the discomfort, heal the hurt. And so that just led Rob and I to be passionate to find a way to heal our daughter. Through this, we found we're not alone. In fact, 40% of Americans struggle with gut health issues that affect their daily lives. And we've seen an increase in the number of kids that are missing school each day because they're sick. So we knew if we found a solution that would help our family, we could help the greater population as well.
And as dairy farmers, we know firsthand the power of colostrum and its impact it has on the calf. So we decided to give it a try. And the results blew us away. So much so that now our whole family benefits from the power of colostrum, and we made it our mission to bring this product into the world.
So you might be asking, what is colostrum?
So colostrum is the first milking after a cow gives birth to its calf. And a calf is actually born without an immune system, and it relies on these bioactives that colostrum contain to establish its immune system and build its gut.
Just to make it a little more relatable, you might know that humans produce colostrum after you have a newborn baby. Cows are very similar. One key difference is a mama cow produces far more colostrum than what her baby calf needs. So we ensure that the newborn calf consumes all the colostrum that she needs first, and then Wonder Cow colostrum is the excess colostrum, the excess colostrum, right? So that's our calf first promise. But these bioactive compounds that are so good for the calves are also great for human body. So we talked a little bit about how it can help rebuild your gut health. What you might not know is how much your gut health affects your overall wellness. So having your gut work properly will make your whole body work better together. And 80% of your immune system is actually found in your gut. So if we can improve your gut health, we're going to improve your immunity. In addition to that, colostrum is naturally high in properties that help with muscle recovery, and it also helps maintain your skin's youthful glow. So it actually boosts your body's ability to create collagen. So it's basically the closest thing to the fountain of youth. Wonder Cow colostrum is pure bovine colostrum that's powderized. So it's very easy to use. It's versatile. And so you can just pour it in water or milk or juice, blend it in a smoothie, stir it in your yogurt. Our current product is unflavored, so I can give it to my kids and they have no idea that they're eating this superfood. And customers have been loving it. You might be asking, is there a market for this amazing product?
And we learned that there's actually a huge market globally for this product. So back in 2019, it was estimated to be at around about a $2.6 billion market, and it's estimated and predicted to double by 2027. And we've really seen that in the last 6 months since we've launched. As you can see in the graph in the middle, that's how many times colostrum powder was searched on Amazon. And as you can see, before we launched back in March of this year, it was averaged around 2,500 searches per month, and now that's gone up over 500% to about 14,000 searches per month. So what does this mean for dairy farmers? Well, there's a finite amount of colostrum in the U.S., and so as demand goes up, competition for that supply goes up, which increases revenue on farm.
Yep, so currently we're selling on Amazon and direct to consumer on our website. And this all just started in April of 2023. So we've got about 6 months under our belt, and we've got over 7,300 subscribers. So they're getting a jar every month. And we're averaging a little over 400 jars sold per day.
And we're planning on expanding into many new markets and new channels, which would allow us to take the seal into places where it's never been before, the supplement industry, from online to retail to even global. We're currently working with Walmart actually formulating a product specifically for them, and we're talking to some brokers because there's been some interest in Southeast Asia about some companies that want our brand, our story, and our product.
And we have a 2-year shelf life, which allows for the ability to ship internationally. So in the last 6 months, we have become one of the top colostrum sellers on Amazon, and there's about 300 other brands that currently sell colostrum supplements. So this is true for a few reasons.
So our colostrum powder is unique in that it contains the highest concentration of antibodies compared to all the competitors, and we are 100% pure. We are free of additives and no fillers, and we are owned and operated by family dairy farmers.
Yep, a great team. We already have hundreds of 5-star reviews online, and I would say, besides the fact that colostrum has transformed our family's life, Rob and I, our favorite part about running this business is hearing the way we're affecting other people's lives. And there's been so many reviews from other customers who had issues daily with IBS, for example, this woman whose life was changed because of our product. And that brings us so much joy. So people are starting to hear a little bit about Wonder Cow, like just in the 6 months, our customers, have obviously grown. And so Wonder Cow is starting to have a voice. People are starting to follow us on Instagram. They're signing up for our newsletters. They're getting advertisements on Amazon. And we're committed to use this platform to be advocates for the dairy industry, specifically the California dairy story.
California dairy is leading the world, as you guys know, when it comes to sustainability. For example, on our farm, we have a methane digester that turns all of our methane into electricity, which powers our whole farm. And actually, the excess electricity goes into the grid to power cars as well. So, yeah, that's why we're making a mission to just be an advocate as much as we can. So we're going into new products here. Oh.
Well, I'm figuring they're going to ask.
We're going to have to go to questions now. So let's go. Great job. That was awesome. Donna.
So you said finite supply.
Yeah.
Does California have enough?
And by I mean that as dairy production grows in the world, as milk production grows, obviously colostrum will follow that. So I'm just saying right now there is a competition with other companies for a colostrum powder. But I will say we are tied in, and our supply is guaranteed at least for the next year for our predicted what we need.
I just went on Amazon, $65 for a container, and that says so am I taking 2 servings a day or 1 serving a day?
So 1 serving is 2 scoops.
Okay.
So it's 2 grams, and that's a 60-day supply.
It's a 60-day supply. And, Jennifer Aniston is a Gen X person. She's the only person who markets to me. And so I buy anything she tells me to. So I do buy Vital Proteins. And so, hey, I think it's a really good idea, but you might need to get some backing from somebody a little bit more. But the finite supply scares me because it is especially if you're putting the calf first. We're talking, I just don't see supply meeting your demand if somebody like me tells all their friends. By the end of tonight, I could have 100 sorority sisters buying your product and you're out.
So what's interesting is there's a lot of supply going into animal products and sold very cheap. And so with us stepping up into the market, we can now pay more for that because our consumers are going to pay us more, which means more money for dairy farmers.
I didn't say I wanted to pay more.
No. Our product would stay the same. Yeah.
Jennifer Joe.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. So I love your story. I love all those things. You had a few teasers.
I wanted someone to ask what was next.
So I would love to hear about what else this could go in.
Well, and that was, if we weren't, telling you all about our story, we could tell you a little bit about what's next.
Yeah, so we're, as you guys tasted tonight, that's our first flavor, it's elderberry. So we have...
our second flavor. What's on the market right now is pure unflavored. That's what you can add to milk, juice, chocolate milk. You can't taste the difference. This is our first flavor.
And we're expanding into different packaging. Stick packs are next. Those will be coming in December, actually. And those will be flavored as well. And then we're working on some colostrum blends just to diversify a little bit.
Mm-hmm. The to-go packets we're super excited about because our customers love the convenience of a powder, but they use it in the comfort of their own home. But how great to be able to take this superfood wherever they go, right? And then the colostrum creamer you can add to coffee or tea and kind of make any beverage delicious and a superfood. Thanks for asking the teaser question.
Do you have any questions?
Where is the seal?
We're working.
Yeah. Yep. And so that was one thing that we had kind of wanted to tee us up for, right? As we build the Wonder Cow voice, it gives us this platform to educate the public, and then we can, teach them the benefits of the dairy industry and all the good that it's doing, and then bring in this California dairy seal to a market that it's never been to before. Right now, you walk into a grocery store and you're going to see the seal on the milk aisle, right? You have milk, cheese, ice cream, all of that is fantastic. But what if you walked into the supplements aisle, right? Your health and wellness, and you're next to vitamins and other supplements, how impactful that will be to have the California Dairy seal on a brand new shelf.
So it's something we're working on.
John.
So you suggest using this frother thing to mix it. I'm curious if you have any consumer feedback on the need to do that, or is it more likely that they're just going to use it in a smoothie in a blender?
Both. Honestly, it kind of depends how comfortable you are adding a powder, because we have a lot of customers that are used to adding like collagen to their drinks or making a smoothie, in which case it's not an issue. It's the people who just want to give their kids juice and they're not used to ever like adding anything to it. And you can just drink it with, like, if it's not completely dissolved, but we have found using a handheld frother just helps the people that aren't used to having anything added to their drinks.
One thing we committed to is a clean ingredient list. And so we don't add sunflower lecithin or any other mixing agents in it. And so for that reason, we'd recommend using a frother if you have one, because it does help.
Yep.
But
But for when we have the to-go packets, there's a new technology to granulize it. And then you can put it in a water bottle, put the lid back on and shake it. And that'll be an easier way to take it hiking, right? Or take it on a walk.
John.
On the tub you sell for $65, what's your gross margin?
yeah, so we run about a 50% profit margin.
My first container is arriving tomorrow at
Hey,
7 a.m. in
let's go.
Chicago. Thank you.
Let's go.
So I just paid you $30. Thank you.
No.
Where's the science behind that shows that this actually works? What can, quantifiable data that shows this actually works and not just, I think I feel better?
Yeah, so I'm very much a skeptic, especially when it comes to the supplement industry, because as we're learning, it's not very monitored, So we dedicated a whole page on our website to talk about the research that's been done. So if you go to wondercow.com and go to the research page, I think there's been over 5,000 articles that have been published talking about the benefits of colostrum. Our colostrum itself has also, there's been some clinical studies on the exact colostrum that we are using as well.
All right, fantastic. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, so weren't those companies awesome? They were really good. Thank you all. So now we're going to do two things. We're going to let our judges go vote, and they're going to go off to a separate room. We're also like to ask each of you to vote. So within your programs, page 6 is a QR code. There also is one over my head that if you just take the camera function on your phone and put it up, there'll be a little link and you can hit it, and it'll ask you to choose who your favorite company is from tonight. While the judges are deliberating, we'd also like to invite Bob Carroll to the stage. I've worked closely with Bob for 5 years, and he is going to bring up the cohort finalists from last year, share that journey with you a little bit, as well as unveil who's going to win the $100,000 prize based on their sales this year. So please welcome Bob to the stage.
Thank you, Fred. This is the 5th year of our Real California Milk Accelerator contest, and last year added a really interesting element to it. Instead of having just one winner at the end of the event, like it will be tonight, we did something different by not having that one winner. We are having 4. So these 4 finalists compete over the course of a year, really based on sales. At the end of the day, these pitches are great. We can learn a lot about the companies, but how do they actually perform in market? And what results then actually come back to the dairy industry and the dairy farmer through sales? So we started this, and we're really, really excited to announce, and I'm going to bring up to the stage here. You can come on up now. We ended up having 1 dropout, but we have 3 of the finalists from last year who have been competing over the last year. And these are just great products, great people. We've gotten to know them. We've been partners in supporting them. And here we go. I'm going to ask each of them to introduce themselves and their companies and just tell you a little bit about what they're doing first to start off. So first we have Kevin from Tres Lecheria.
Hello, I'm Kevin. I have had 2 tequila sodas, so let's see how coherent this is. My name's Kevin. I co-own Tres Lecheria. We specialize in clean label Tres Leches cakes available in about 15 plus flavors. I just have to say that being involved in this program has been so beneficial. We've been connected to so many great people who have been able to sort of hold our hands and show us sort of the avenues and the routes that we can take, because I had no idea that this stuff existed before we sort of took part in this program. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Emily Galels. My brand is Dosa by Dosa, and I was in your shoes last year. You all did an amazing job. I built a brand around lassi, which is a natural Indian yogurt drink. Started traveling India in my early 20s and became really inspired by some world-class recipes that were cherished and consumed by billions of people in other parts of the world, but had yet to come to the US, and have built a brand that's natural and really innovating in flavor, and of course, all with California dairy. Thank you.
And I'm Brittany Wirt. I am the digital and market manager for Wayward Spirit, and we make handcrafted specialty spirits made from upcycled whey. And so we have our original, and we also launched a barrel-aged whey spirit just this past May. So it's been really exciting to, be with these really cool companies and, kind of be able to grow alongside them.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And really, one of the things that I'd like to hear from each of you next is throughout the course of the whole process, from the very beginning when you first applied all the way until today, if you could please just describe really what benefited you the most as for being part of the Accelerator. And we'll start down.
I think the biggest thing was just like the connections. So, being a finalist last year, we were able to go to so many trade shows and, really meet a lot of people in kind of the distribution and the hospitality realm, and made a ton of really great connections that have, continued to help us grow. And, we were able to also increase our Whole Foods locations by like 50% in California, just because we were able to put money towards, demos and promos and really get our spirit off the shelf and be able to, put liquid to lips. So.
For Dosa by Dosa, definitely the first thing is having the seal, meeting the Real California Milk Association and applying to get the seal. There's a certain credibility that we have that we see means a lot with our retail partners. And then, I tell the CMAB and Venture Fuel often that when you're out there building an emerging brand like all of you, that you don't get a lot of help, and then along comes this community and they just kind of tap you, and you do have to compete. That is like, you do have to do something to get in. And, that this competition you've done was the beginning for me of just having this community and this family to go to events with, like Fancy Food Show, and also, just to turn to for expertise. And certainly in all of our category reviews, we're telling our potential retail partners about the demos and IRC programs and marketing opportunities that we have with the CMAB, and that means a lot to them. There's a lot of power and weight with this organization, and certainly with the sustainability factor of the California dairy farms. So there's a certain pride and legitimacy that we have as a result of being in this community that is really meaningful.
For Tres Lecheria, having the resources from the CMAB really allowed us to cast a really wide net over the course of the year of 2023. So we took sort of a unique approach from the other companies, and we didn't really do like manufacturing to distribution to retail. We really sort of were able to sell direct to the consumer through food delivery apps. We had a food truck. We were able to use some of the money to market. So being able to sort of cast that wide net and really determine at the end of this year what would work better for us, we really have a clearer understanding of what we can do in 2024.
Excellent, thank you. So what we're really excited about, and part of the reason we do this, is because innovation really does spark a fire within not just not just what you're doing, but across the industry. And we look ahead to a day when California is clearly, absolutely, and undeniably the center for innovation for the dairy industry. And I believe that what you all are doing is really helping us to do that. It's incredibly exciting. And one of the things that we love about Venture Fuel is always talking about what's next. So I'm going to ask each of you just to describe in your vision and your dreams, what do you see as what's next for you and your company? We'll start with Kevin.
I think throughout the process of the last year, we've been able to sort of hone in on what really makes us special and sort of inform more of like the demographic that we need to reach and sort of the avenues that we need to take. So for us, it really sort of has established that we are able to stay in the state of California. We came from another state, we moved down here to really sort of get things going, and this sort of just proved to us that we can remain in California, we can remain a company using real California milk, and really sort of grow in the way that we've learned throughout the last year will be most beneficial to us.
For Dosa by Dosa, we certainly want to scale nationally. We've gotten a couple of national retail partners, and in a parallel track, we really want to use some of the investment we're taking in to bring the people into our brand, so people can really see themselves in our brand, just bring the people that are consuming Lassie, and have that be as diverse as the audience really is. And then, of course, we have plans to scale into the larger markets in the world, because the U.S. is the 5th largest. So, scaling the brand internationally with real California milk would be a real goal of ours in the next 24 months.
I think the big thing for Wayward Spirit is just bringing the seal to liquor store shelves and like those liquor aisles where it's not really seen. We're one of the first alcohol brands to be able to use the seal because we are 100% whey. And, it's always fun to see something new in a category. So, we're a specialty spirit. We are kind of a new category in and of itself. And so to be able to bring that seal, across the state, across the country, into a space that it hasn't really been before, is super exciting.
Excellent, thank you. So I think we're gonna just let the anticipation build for another minute here. I see John just came out of the deliberation room, but let's exit the stage and we'll prepare for the big announcement.
So this is very exciting. This is the first year we've done this where we actually extended the competition for a full year to get, hey, why not real world in-market results? And that's so exciting to see these products really kind of come into their own and expand and grow and make some money. So we'll start with second place, our runner-up, winner of $25,000 is Wayward Spirit.
Pause for a photo.
You go in the middle.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Terrific.
And the grand prize of $100,000 goes to Dosa by Dosa. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Here's your big fancy check. So we want to hear how you guys did. The fan vote, and the winner is, go ahead.
So winner of the fan vote is, do we want to do a little drum roll in the audience? Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. Congratulations to New Alchemy. You guys won the fan vote.
All right. Awesome. James, why don't you keep going?
You want me to keep going?
Yeah,
okay.
man.
Okay. All right. And then in no particular order, the 4 finalists for this year. Starting first, Wonder Cow. Congratulations. Please come on up. Step up to the stage.
Congratulations. Great job.
All right. And then our next finalist is Petit Pot.
Petit Pot.
Yeah,
Petit
yeah,
Pot.
that's out. I'm from the Midwest. I don't know how to speak French.
That's all right. That's all right.
And then next finalist is Arbos. And then our final finalist of today is Amazing Ice Cream.
All right.
Let's hear it one more time for this year's finalists.
Congratulations. John, you want to come up? We'll do one picture here with John and all the finalists. And then John, I'm gonna ask you a little insight from the judges' back room there. I'm gonna put you on the spot. How did you all decide? Obviously, this was a very difficult decision with 8 great companies. Was there anything that jumped out about any one of these that helped them get into the finals here?
Wow. Well, first of all, we all voted before we talked. So the discussion that followed did not influence the vote in any way, but there was a lot of very animated discussion around Wonder Cow. And there was a lot of interest in what was there. And so I think that was certainly reflected in the vote and part of that outcome. But there's always a lot of interesting insights. People have different perspectives, things one person saw that another didn't. And it's fun just to listen. It's not a perfect science, but that's kind of why we do this in multiple stages too, you know? So we're starting with 4 great ideas, and you know, by next year we'll know which one was the best. So we're going to have some more fun.
Yeah, that's the best part. Now each of you will have $30,000 to go forward and grow, and then we'll have you here next year, and we'll announce who wins. So thank you all and congratulations. And just for the crowd, so you all know, we're going to open up the Dairy Expo. So if you did not get to taste any of these products, please go to their booth, get to know them, taste them. In the back of the program, also there's Real California Milk at Venture Fuel. I remembered it. Email, if you guys want to meet with any of the founders, if you want to talk to them, you want to help them in some way, just shoot an email to us. We'll make sure you get connected. I can't thank the judges enough for making time, for asking great questions tonight. It was a lot of fun. For all the mentors, for everyone at CMAB, my team at Venture Fuel, and everyone in the California dairy community. I could not be more proud of what we've accomplished so far and more excited about what we're going to do together. So thank you all for coming out this evening and enjoy the rest of the night.